On April 28th, it is true that the company announced that there were $50 million in hand on the table to be able to attract the best programmers from around the world. Today, it is no longer just a project. It is already, look at one thing, it is already a reality. More than 412 projects are already underway on the Botchain. 412 projects, okay, are already benefiting from the $50 million, a portion, of course, of the $50 million. And all this on the mainnet, the central blockchain network operating, okay, the official operating network that supports the entire ecosystem and the flow of value. There is their own explorer. That is to say, they have their own, okay, browser. They have their own bridge system. Felipe, what is a bridge, my friends? My friends, we are talking about a blockchain that gives you the ability to move from one blockchain to another at the lowest fees on the market, the cheapest on the market, and the fastest on the market. That's what we are talking about. That is what a bridge is. The bridge is the connection. And they have their own wallet, their own internal wallet, right, already. And we are talking about the BitX, okay, which provides, okay, decentralized trading scenarios for the free exchange of assets on the network and liquidity synergy. That's what you need to remember, my friends. I was recently actually, in Bangkok. And in Bangkok, during a company event with more than 5,000 people, we were able to see, okay, dozens and dozens of projects that were already present, that already had their project, okay, for their system already functional on the Botchain. And I am talking to you about 412 that are already there. These are slides that are already 3 weeks old. So imagine the quantity there is. I'm just going to remind you that this was announced, the $50 million, on April 28th. It hasn't even been 3 months. So imagine what will happen in 3 months. Maybe in 3 months, it will already be 2,000, 3,000 projects. In a year, it will already be, okay, 10,000, 20,000 projects. If there are 10,000 projects using the blockchain, if each of them has barely 1,000 followers, I told you earlier, there are games, there are arbitrage systems that have 5,000, 10,000 followers, 50,000 followers, 500,000 followers. But let's put it on the low end, only 1,000 followers. We are talking, my friends, about 10,000 projects. We are talking about a project, a blockchain that will have at least 10 million people who will pay gas fees every day, every single day. Or in other words, we are talking about the sustainability precisely of this activity. That is what needs to be understood. It is from there. It is not from network marketing that the sustainability of the business will come. It will come precisely from what the company is doing. I will just remind you again that the company on July 13th and 14th, they were presenting the Botchain at WebEx. WebEx is the most important cryptocurrency summit in Japan, where personally the Prime Minister of Japan was present and gave a speech at this same event where it was announced precisely, okay, the Botchain and the possibility for programmers to be able to participate and benefit from the $50 million. So the company is doing its part at the same time, in parallel. My friends, it's a super global consensus. It's a super global summit. We are seeing today that it's more than 55 countries in 8 months of activity. We are talking about more than 1 million users precisely at the wallet level. 500,000 distributors. More than 1 million users, okay, at the wallet level, and more than 500,000 distributors. Okay, coverage in 15 major linguistic systems. And that is what we are talking about. And what is interesting, which I really liked, is that the company is investing in the most important thing. My friends, for a currency to be strong, it must have, as we saw earlier, its own blockchain. It must have real utility. The utility, I have proven it. I have shown you that there is a utility that is more than real. No programmer would want to go back. Tell me. I am originally from Guadeloupe. I remember my grandmother explaining to me that in her time, in her era, to leave Guadeloupe and go, to Paris, it took 2 weeks. 2 weeks, sometimes a little more. Tell me I do it in 7.5 hours. Tell me who would want to do it in 2 weeks today? Who would want to go back? In the same way, what programmer would want to go back? Okay, well, in time, my friends. Instead of having programming tasks that could easily be completed in just 1 hour, 2 hours, or perhaps 3 hours, who on earth is actually going to be the one to do it in 3 or 4 months? Who would want to go back? And that is why, to be able to inform as many people as possible and train as many people as possible, well, John Sonzar created the CARY PACT Academy. And today, that's 1,500 offices around the world, 1,500 cities around the world, where every day, in the morning, at noon, in the evening, well, people are taught what a blockchain is. People are taught what staking actually is. People are taught what mining is. People are taught how they can take advantage of all this. So tell me, what do you think is going to happen with all of this? I am in Brazil. There, okay, that's it. We started working. It's been a little less than 3 months. And actually, that's it. Okay, in 15 days, we are going to inaugurate the first office in Brazil. And I can tell you one thing, my friends, it's going to make a big difference. In the month of, okay, so we saw in the month of April, there was the consensus, okay, the Hong Kong summit, where there were more than 45 countries and 44,000 people gathered on site. Political leaders, political heads, business leaders gathered together. There was that day, my friends, the president of, okay, well, the Blockchain Association for all of Asia, who was present there. I had the opportunity to be able to do, okay, well, a training that day during, okay, precisely, okay, in front of 4,000 people. We can see here with the Brazilian flag, I have the French flag, the Brazilian flag in my hands. Okay, on the bottom left, we can see. Well, it is indeed me who is there in that way. So I was simply my friends. And this conference was online, and more than 200,000 people followed that conference online. Subsequently, we saw, okay, there were global events, okay, in different countries around the world, my friends. Hundreds of cities around the world. Hundreds and hundreds of cities around the world, precisely, talking about CARY PACT. And another thing, just recently, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were still in Bangkok with more than 5,000 participants, and we saw the launch of the mining, okay, of the bot. In Hong Kong, we saw the launch of the mining precisely, of the CA. And we saw here the launch of the bot mining. The currency, in fact, of the gas. I had the opportunity to be able to do a training that day as well. You can see me at the bottom left. There you go. And my friends, we are talking, okay, about a public blockchain. We are talking, okay, about the design of a global community and a company that is putting in tens of millions of dollars to be able to get there. We had another conference with John Sonzar. Okay, well, John Sonzar, last Saturday, where he announced that he has already invested, more than $20 million in training by inviting leaders where he trained. Tens of thousands of V1s. And today, he said by the end of the year, there is another $20 million to invest, to be able to, for the design of the global community. My friends, it is the first reference ecosystem, CARY PACT. CARY PACT, it is the first project on the Botchain. There will be others. There will be many others. It's CARY PACT. It's just one project on the Botchain. And today we are going to talk about an economic model. They're totally differentiated. First thing to know, I told you earlier, there are two currencies. The first currency is simply, the CA. The CA, in fact, is the community currency. The second currency is the bot. The bot is the gas. I told you earlier, it's like Binance. There's the BNB and the BLC. The BLC is the community currency. The BNB is the gas precisely of the Botchain of the Binance blockchain. Here, it's the same. Regarding the CA, the community currency, there will be a total supply of 210 million units. 10 million for the swap, my friends. The company has already set aside 10 million for the swap. That is to say, you have a currency where you have the guarantee of having liquidity. And one thing that really caught my attention is that sometimes in there are currencies, simply put, there are people, in fact, what they do is they go and buy the currency. There are whales that come along, and the whales afterwards, all of a sudden, okay, they take they liquidate all their funds. Here they have a system, what we call a security wallet, which if by any chance a whale does that, there is a security wallet that will automatically buy for the same value precisely, okay, of the CA, of the same value that the whale would have just liquidated. And that allows for maintaining a balance at the level precisely, okay, of the value of the currency. That is very important because 99% of the currencies that have had a big drop in the past, okay, well, it's because in fact there were influences of the currency who caused the currency to drop and who even caused, okay, currencies to lose all their value in the cryptocurrency space. My friends, 40,000 currencies are issued every day, which are mined every day. Okay, well, and here what you need to remember is that it works like Bitcoin. There is a deflationary system where, in fact, okay, well, every 2 years there will be 10% less production. And we know the law of the market. The law of the market is as follows. Okay, well, the more demand there is and the less supply there is, automatically, that is what will maintain the price and the growth, the consistency of the growth, precisely, okay, of the evolution of a currency's price in that sense. There you go. And also, we also saw, my friends, the production will take place, okay, for 22 years. And there, out of the 40,000 units per day, okay, there is a portion, okay, well, for the 35%, it will be for network rewards, okay, 18% for everything related to staking, 42% for computing power mining, 2% for the foundation, okay, 3% for the DAO. Computing power is what we call mining. And when you make the comparison, and especially when you look at the two currencies, they are both interconnected, totally interconnected. But above all, my friends, we are talking about a currency that has a 10% burn rate for infinite combustion and deflation. We saw it earlier, a fixed daily production with a 10% reduction every 2 years. We saw it earlier. Staking, and with staking, there is a reduction in the circulating supply, meaning the supply that staking offers automatically, it is constantly reducing, which allows us not to sell, okay, well, not to sell an illusion, okay? Automatically, whoever starts now will receive more. Whoever starts in a year will receive less. It's like Bitcoin, like any type of staking that existed. Here, it will be no different. So there you go. And also, my friends, we are talking about private domain traffic with a consensus from the community team regarding the bot. Okay, so you have to understand that 50%, okay, of the gas fees, okay, will be burned. And actually, we are talking about 25 years of mining. And what you need to understand is that there is an application which is the parts of the ecosystem building initial pools. We are talking about a public pool traffic with promotions in traditional media, okay, with a planned system for a progressive listing on major platforms starting in September. I mentioned it to you earlier, like OKX, Bybit, KuCoin, MEXC, BitGet, and since last Saturday, the coin is already listed on CoinStore. I remind you that CoinStore is nothing more or less than the 20th largest exchange in the world, and it is nothing more or less, okay, the 5th largest exchange in the world. We are talking about an exchange that has a volume of $300 million per day. Do you think that an exchange that has $300 million a day will be able to allow you to recover your $300 invested, your $500 invested, or your $1,200 invested, or even your $10,000 invested? That's what you need to understand. Okay, understand the scale of what we are talking about. Network marketing is just a grain. It's simply a hair in comparison to the scale, to the amplitude, exactly, okay, of the dimension of this business and what it can generate. There are two forms of passive income. To make money with the system, there are different ways to earn money. There are 2 passive ones and 3 with the team. The passive part is that you can mine the currency yourself. By mining the currency, well, you will simply have to buy computing power. Felipe, what is computing power? I will explain it to you in detail. Imagine that you are in a village. In your village, gold has been discovered. Gold has been discovered. To be able to mine the gold, you need a big machine that costs a lot of money. And so going door to door, someone comes by and says, tell me, Anthony, can you put in, okay, $100? Clement, can you put in $1,000? Kevin, can you put in your share? Okay, $300. And by going door to door in this way, they will build up a value. And with traditional gold mining, there are days, okay, where only gold dust will be found. There are other days where there are only small nuggets. There are other days where there are larger nuggets. But the mining machine, what is it going to do? It is going to work every day. And what is its job? It's simply to wash the earth, to wash gravel, to actually wash rocks, to wash soil and sand, to actually separate all these residues in order to extract gold. Sometimes it's gold dust, sometimes small nuggets, sometimes larger nuggets. And there are days when there is nothing. That is traditional mining. Whereas with mining, with the OK virtual mining of the blockchain, it's 40,000 coins every day. That is not a sine qua non condition. No, it's 40,000 coins every day. Every day there are 40,000 coins that are mined. And you, depending on the value of the computing power you purchase, you will receive currency in proportion to your investment. And the currency, you will be able to exchange it every day for USDT, then send, okay, the USDT every day. You will be able to have it because we talked about it earlier. We said that there is exactly 10% that was set aside for the okay, for the swap, meaning so that you can have liquidity whenever you want, whenever you want. Every day, you can convert the CA currency into USDT every day. That is without any conditions. There are no conditions for that. First point. The second point you need to remember, my friends, is that what you have earned. If you want to increase it, you can put it back into staking. And the staking will actually give you, the mining will give you, okay, an average of 0.30, 0.50 to 60 per day. And with staking, you can reach up to 1% per day in total. So that's what you need to understand in that sense. And there, my friends, while the only thing you did, you simply bought computing power. You simply bought computing power. And there, of course, the computing power, the staking, and on top of that, with the network, you can increase your earnings even more. Today, this isn't a training session, okay, to know everything about how it works, but I'm already going to explain it to you. But Felipe, what is staking? Staking, in fact, is the savings of the digital age. Okay, staking works like a bank savings account, but much more efficiently. You will lock your CA tokens to help keep the network operational. In exchange for this support, the protocol will actually generate daily profits for you directly into your wallet. Today, there are different types of staking. There is a flexible one where you will have access to your capital 100%, okay, every 24 hours, and you will receive today between 0.23 and 0.25% per day. I remind you that it is digressive, okay? And today, okay, well, if you lock it for 30 days, well, then you will receive a little more. Today, it's 0.32%, which is also digressive. But on the other hand, what you lock in is what you will get for that month. And look at this. If you want 90 days, you'll get a larger volume, 480 days, a larger volume, zero. Okay, 360 days, a larger volume, a higher yield. But what's interesting to know is that, for example, you stake for a year, you stake for a year. Remind me, you stake for a year. What you need to know is that you will get your yield every day. You will get your yield every day, but you will also get a percentage of your capital that will be credited to you every day. You don't receive your capital as it happens in other staking only at the end of the 360 days. No, not at all. Every day, a percentage of your value of your capital will be recredited to you in addition to the yield that you get every day. My friends, today, by doing a calculation on the staking, okay, well, at 360 days, you multiply your capital by 10 over a year, at least by 10 over a year. Just to give, in fact, okay, well, an example based on today's reality, I remind you that it is digressive. Another thing to know, today we also have the network earnings. Network earnings, there are three forms of earnings. You can also earn a percentage on all the values that everyone on your team will put into staking. You can also earn, okay, well, in various other ways on the network. I'm going to tell you about one in particular. What happens is that here you won't earn on different networks, different levels. You will earn on the volume of each lineage, on the volume of each lineage. And when the company, what it's going to do, I explained it to you earlier. There is 35% of everything that is mined per day that the company will take and share among all those who are qualified. 35% of the mining. My friends, that's huge. It's huge. And unlike other network marketing models, here your earnings won't depend on turnover because it only depends on mining. And the mining is fixed. It's 40,000 coins per day. 40,000 coins per day. That's the big difference. And there you receive the money every day, every day, every day, every day. You are version 1 today. You will receive between 15 and 30, okay, well, dollars per day. Which will get you between $450 and $900 per month. You are V2, you will receive, in fact, okay, well, V2, you need, okay, V1, you need to have $500 in personal mining. V2, you need to have $1,000 in personal mining, and you will, in fact, okay, well, you will receive between $40 and $70 per day, $1,200 to $2,000 per month. You want to be V3, you need to have $1,500 personal in mining operations, and you will receive, okay, well, $100 to $150 per day, which represents between $3,000 and $4,500 per month. You are version 4, okay, you will receive, in fact, between $200 and $350 per month, and that will make you between $6,000 and $10,000 per day. You are V5, which is currently my qualification. Call me back, Mom. And there you are, V5. You are okay there. You will receive between $500 and $500 per day, between $500 and $700 per day. You will receive, okay, there between $15,000 and $21,000 per month. Okay? And there, my friends, and you are V6. You have at least $4,000. Okay, there. Well, there in mining, you will receive between $1,000 and $2,000 per day, and you will make between $30,000 and $60,000 per month. That is the qualification I should have in the next 15 to 20 days. Are you V7? Well, today, my friends, you're going to make between $90,000 and $150,000 per month. Are you V8? Today in the company, there are three V8s. Three V8s, they are making between $300,000 and $450,000. Between $300,000 and $450,000 per month that you're making, okay? Between $300,000 and $450,000 per month. Today there are already three V8s in the company today. My friends, we are talking about a business that has been in existence for 8 months. 8 months. Imagine what will happen in 6 months. Imagine what will happen in a year. Imagine what will happen in your life in 6 months. Imagine what can happen in your life in a year with a business like this one. A V9 is someone who will earn between $750,000 and $900,000 per month. A V10 is someone who will earn between $1.5 million and $3 million per month. My friends, that is what we are talking about. That is simply the business we are talking about today. And what's more, for you who want to do this activity professionally, it is possible for you, because the company, in fact, has launched, an academy. An academy where you can simply train yourself and actually become, an official speaker for the company. An official speaker for the company. The company will pay for your travel. It will pay for your training so that you can actually become, in your region, in your country, an official speaker for the company. You will receive, a certificate that certifies your level of training. You will take an exam, precisely in that regard as well. You will also take an exam in that regard, so that you can be validated by the company. And as you grow, once you reach the V5 level, well, you will be able to have an office 100% funded by the company, 100% funded by the company, 100% funded by the company, where you in fact will be able to, okay, well, here for example you have the visual of an office that is going to be okay, well, inaugurated in Brazil, okay, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, okay, this is the first Brazilian office, this is how it will look, okay, well, quite simply, and it will be inaugurated in the next 15 to 20 days. There you go. I will be present. You will have videos, you will have photos, okay, specifically of the office inauguration. There you go. And here it is possible for you to have an office like this one. I remind you that there are already 1,500 of them around the world where the company pays the rent. The company pays, okay, well, in addition to the rent, it pays the expenses related to the office, okay, the office operations, and the speakers are also paid by the company. In addition to that, the office speakers are paid by the company, my friends. Where have you seen that in the past? In what company have you seen that? In what company have you seen that? We are not talking about something the company is going to do for a few leaders because it knows them. This is an institution within CARY PACT. It is an institution. We've seen in some companies, okay, leaders who might receive some perks because they know, okay, well, a big leader, a top leader, or they know the owner of the company. Here, I am talking to you about an institution that is within the company, simply to be able to grow, okay, the community across the world. And so, my friends, we were talking about liquidity earlier to wrap things up. And today there is the possibility for you not only to have a card to be able to load, okay, your currency, to load your currency and be able to buy anything from a coffee to a car, okay, with your card in more than 180 countries around the world. In addition to that, you will also be able to have a bank account, even an offshore bank account, directly thanks to CARY PACT, 100% CARY PACT. We are not talking about a project, we are talking about a reality. And for those who don't know, did you know that the CARY PACT card follows the UTX-0 protocol? That is to say, this protocol possesses its own independent consensus mechanism. It has an autonomous validation. It does not wait for other technologies. It validates transactions in an isolated and ultra-fast manner through zero friction. That is to say, whether it's for a transfer between users or a conversion, the infrastructure will optimize execution to guarantee instant transaction. And we're talking about reduced cost. On top of that, by optimizing the data path, the protocol drastically reduces ancillary fees. That's what we're talking to you about. We're not talking, okay, precisely about some small time business. We're talking about a business that is going to make, okay, well, simply, okay, there, well, a breakthrough that is going to leave a mark in the history of the universe, in the history of humanity, in the history of cryptocurrency. And you today